Yes, having addressed some of the recurring questions from the videos and the broadcasts, the next thing will be, the next other recurring question is, what do we do? What are you asking us to do? Ninas is saying there are documents we have which some people who have taken the trouble to, even on, it's on our website. Those documents that predate 1914, those documents that are the foundation of the construction of the British for their criminal enterprise they call Nigeria. In those documents we saw that there are 3 pillars they put in place to hold this abomination together. The first is the instrument of ignorance. It's in black and white. There are people listening to us now who have already seen those documents. There are some who have gone to our website to look at them. They are there right now. Ignorance. The second is fear. The third is military terrorism. See how they relate. The ignorance was deliberately imposed to keep the natives, to keep the populace, in the dark. They don't know their rights. They don't know what leads to what. Everything is, mystery to them. So you have a population of 200 million people just milling around in no direction. The answer to ignorance is knowledge, information. And Ninas does have more than enough, tons and tons of information that if we do the little that we can do now using available technologies, internet is there and all of the digital possibilities, to take that information to the populace that should work with it, ignorance will be defeated. And therefore the fear that is rooted in that ignorance will begin to vanish. And the military terrorism, which is the government, is the terror. That's how Nigeria was designed to work. Ignorance as basis, fear as medium, and government terror as enforcement. Anybody who will ask what's going on is beheaded or put to prison. But if you remove the source, if you extinguish the source, which is that ignorance, the fear will vanish, and the military terror, the government that is doing all of what it used to do, is no longer able to do. And so we invite those who are asking us, what shall we do? We invite, Ninas is inviting you specifically to get hold of this information flowing out from us. There are at least 50 videos at the last count. If you go further back, at least in the last 6 months, if you go further back, you could be talking about over 100. But of all of them, we will recommend that you select between 7 and 10 of the videos, starting with the one that is titled Unraveling the Foundations of the Caliphate Prison on YouTube. I repeat, Unraveling the Foundations of the Caliphate Prison. That is one video that tells the story of what the British put together and labeled Nigeria. Anybody who looks at that video will begin to see, will begin to understand how we got into the pit we are in now. And then we go again to the one we call the Ruga Alert, where we were telling our people what these invaders were doing to try to hand over our land to the people they procured to come to, win power, to get power by brigandage in 2015. After that, you now have the one that is in 4 parts, the one that has the train terror attack in 4 parts. In between, you will then see the one talking about, halting the journey to 2023. That is the place of the 2023 election in this equation of whether we stay or we leave. And so, any 7 of the videos that include these 5 I've mentioned, the churches Anybody who has any auditorium where people gather to worship, because they come to pray and cry to God about the things happening. The action Ninas is inviting you to take now, except you are one of those working for the enemy, except you are one of those, inviting people to go and get PVC for a battle of AK-47. PVC is plastic. And you are inviting them to go and get the plastic to go and confront people with a metal called AK-47. All of those who have auditoriums where people come to worship, get a projector. Take any of these 3-5 videos. Many of them are just 10-15 minutes. Some are less than 10 minutes. Get that's your congregation. Get them to see those videos in that auditorium. If the churches will do that across the length and breadth of Nigeria, those who worship online, those who gather people online for any kind of purpose, dedicate all these Zoom meetings that are happening, everybody who wants to be free from Nigeria and therefore doing a Zoom meeting around the clock. If you have a 2 hours meeting, take 30 minutes of that 2 hours. Select any of these 3-4 of these videos. Play it to that audience that you have invited. The people doing Yoruba Nation, the people doing Ijaw Nation, the people doing Biafra Nation. We have the formula for delivering your sovereignty back to you. That's what Ninas has succeeded in doing. The constitution that held your sovereignty is defeated. The caliphate that was organizing and imposing that constitution by brigandage is again incapacitated. But the information on where things are now has to get to people who are in that bondage. So wherever you can gather them, whether it's virtual or physical, get those videos, play to them. Let those who have the capacity to understand more begin to discuss. If you do that, if you do that 2-3 times, you discover that everybody will be up to date in what we are discussing. That ignorance that is the basis of your enslavement will be defeated in less than 1 month. And that will be the end of that constitution, because the things that will follow from knowing what you need to know, what is already available to be known, the thing that will follow is that constitution, we will wind it up, and therefore the union it imposes on us. It is that constitution that makes us Nigeria. It is that constitution that brings the Fulani to your space. It is that constitution that put the gun in their hand. That Nigeria that is defined by that constitution will go down, that unitary Nigeria. We're not talking about Nigeria the Federation. That one already went away. But the one that is masquerading around now is the unitary Nigeria imposed by that constitution. We're inviting you to the actions that will bring that constitution to termination, and therefore the union that is anchored on it, and therefore your sovereignty right on the table there. These are things that can happen inside the first 3 quarters of 2022 if we put our hands to it. So please, wherever you can gather people, it could be 1,000 people, it could be 50 people, it could be 10 people, anybody who is discussing, even those who gather in places where they watch football, Man U and Arsenal, all of those viewing centers, let somebody bring these videos and put on those screens, so that those who do not know what is the source of this problem that is hitting them from everywhere will begin to know, so that we can build a critical mass of people who are going to put their hands on the plow and do what is necessary. And what is that thing that is necessary? If they view those videos, they will then come to see why we must stop the journey to 2023 election under that constitution. Because you are going to renew your enslavement. That's all you are doing. If you are one of those still talking about PVC or APC and PDP, which of them will, you are just going to renew your enslavement. You are just enabling the people who are invading you to have more time to conquer you and slaughter you off, because they've shared your land already. It's not as if they're planning to do that tomorrow. The people who will take your land are the ones you call Fulani herdsmen. They came from Mali, from Mauritania, from Senegal, from Guinea, everywhere. The Fulani from everywhere. You saw when your commander-in-chief threw our borders open and they poured in. You saw when Dangote trucks were transporting them deep into the south. 30, 40, trailer loads every night. You see them in Lagos, you see them in Warri, you see them in Port Harcourt. They're already in your backyard. They're already in your forest, carrying weapons that are more sophisticated than the policeman or soldier you are going to call in the neighborhood. And the commanders of those police units and army units are of them. So what you need to do, for those who have been asking, what they have gun, we don't have gun. The answer to gun, the gun they are pointing at you, whether in uniform or from the forest, the answer to that gun is work with us to take down this constitution, because it is the constitution that put the guns in their hands. It's the constitution that forbid you from touching gun. But there have been one of the governors, the one in Benue, who had the courage to do what needed to be done all the while. What every governor can do now. That constitution had been defeated from the action we took on December 16th, 2020. That constitutional force majeure was the end of that constitution. Anybody who doesn't understand it now may have to understand it either with a bleeding head or a broken arm, if his head is not already severed. That constitution is out of the way. Anything you could not do, because that constitution says you could not do it, you can do now. Let the governors who pass grazing or anti-grazing laws also summon the courage to send bills to their state assemblies to pass the law they will to pass, so that they can sign into law to issue firearms from the collapse of that constitution, because there's a vacuum now. If you do not fill that space by making laws and issuing firearms like Samuel Otom has done in Benue, if you do not do that, the terrorists in your backyard, the Fulani invaders, are going to fill that space. You see what's going on in Niger State. They will be the ones that will come out with their guns and begin to collect taxes from your people. Delta State should look deep into the forest and see who and who is paying tax to invaders. And it's happening in all kinds of places. So the answer to the gun is to take down that constitution today. If it goes down, it immediately activates your right to armed self-defense, which is an integral part of your right to self-determination that is inalienable. I repeat, your right to self-determination is inalienable. That means it's not in the hand of nobody has to agree with you for you to exercise it. The right to armed self-defense is an integral part of that right to self-determination. But the activation of it has to be, from the point that constitution is taken down. And what do we need to take down that constitution is just to spread this information so that people can now begin to do the balance of the things they need to do in knowledge. It's not any other, any other thing anybody is doing may just be something that will put them in trouble. You see what's going on in eastern Nigeria, because they refuse to listen. The ones who are looking for Biafra that will fall from the sky refuse to listen to us. And therefore they started by going to, engage in ignorance with a monster they cannot see. We have identified that monster. We have incapacitated that monster. We have also defeated the instrument that empowers that monster against all of us. And all we need to do is to execute that victory, to operationalize that victory. And that's the reason for this broadcast. Just spread the information, take it from where it is, and share it in marketplaces, in school networks, in church networks, in town union networks, all over the world, wherever people from south and middle belt of Nigeria gather. In marketplaces, let these videos be shared with them. Therefore, they will come to that level of knowledge that will enable them to do the next things that we need to do. We can finish this business in a matter of months. Inside 2022, election 2023 must be halted. The preparations must be halted now, not tomorrow. Anybody you see that is participating, that is getting ready to go to swear to defend and uphold that country, all of those who already swore, all of those who have been swearing since 2003, 2011, 2007, 2015, 2019, all of those from the South and Middle Belt who have sworn to defend and uphold that 1999 Constitution, you have already committed an offense for which no punishment is too high. Because we have been shouting about the contents of that Constitution. That's why people are being killed. That's why people are being impoverished. But that's also why you go to receive as governor 4 billion, 5 billion every month. So that's what you are pursuing as senator. 50 million, 60 million every month. That's what you are pursuing. And so you don't care that the others die. And so you are preparing again to come to swear to defend and uphold the constitution that impoverish and kill other people. You are being invited to reason by yourself now, because if things get worse than they are now and actually snap, you won't find people like us to come and stand between you and the angry masses that will then discover that you have been part of how they got to their suffering. Church leaders preaching PVC. Church leaders who are not interested in the constitution by which the flock is being tormented and killed. Like Desmond Tutu decided up with Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Where are the Desmond Tutus in Nigeria? You are interested in private jet and private university and PVC that will enable the continuation of your friends in office. Nobody is deceived. Your congregation is listening. They are watching to see what you do. Are you on their side to help stop the journey to this 2023? Or are you on the side of the enemy to drag them to Golgotha?